Yo, Beat Butcher, Wordsmiff, sit tight. What? Smith a word, spit a verse so insightfully. Open up your mind, take a ride with me. Southwest vet, don't pepper where arrivals cheap, believe. I'm in this for life. What? I've got my spot down for years now. Tears, fake prayers ain't coming near now. LA fears make you proud. Sincerely hope it's very clear now. I'm in this for life. Yo, what? To ride the mic strong's been a lifelong ambition. Minds on a mission, vibe on the rhythm. Each bar breathes like a heartbeat. The light and the wisdom lies past me like a shining prism in a dark street. Starts deep, redefining my vision. I'm aligning my written's underlining the rhyming tradition. If your timing's deficient, it's like fly fishing in a dried up hole whereby soul thrives. In the mind of Smith, son, I came to rule. Rick Mike's with one insatiable. Erase the ball, it's all life, non-fiction. What I'm spitting's like the night the far right from Brixton. I've nailed it, with conviction. Impale kicks with a two-front fork tongue. The truth done when core sports come at a stunning rate. In my drum bananate, run my gums commentate. When the slums come follow me. Smith on words, spit a verse so insightfully. Open up your mind, take a ride with me. Southwest vet, don't pepper where arrivals cheap, believe. I'm in this for life. What? I've got my spot down for years now. Tears, fake prayers ain't coming near now. LA fears make you proud. Sincerely hope it's very clear now. I'm in this for life. Yo, it's not a pastime, hobby or a job, we stop at R5. It's our life. Second nature, hard rhymes, sharp minds, pen to paper. Blast nines at any faker. Send a traitor skywards to Evans Gate. Write this on a daily basis. Praise great facelifts when the bass licks. Metamorph, straight switch, shift shape. Change form, afraid to trade spit. It's a game of wits, I'm the favourite. The name's my brain's swift to spot a mocking brother who run their chops back, they shot rocks like blocks of mozzarella. You cops on Rockefeller, now you hip hop. Make me chuckle. They say when push comes to shove, take a tumble. Sloppy man's a proper copies, grammar Pollyannas. When I drop the slang, I bang up polyphonic doppelgangers. Rock and jam, my standard shots are banging, knocking blaggers from you landis on the man that get me on it. Watch your manners. Smith on words, spit a verse so insightfully. Open up your mind, take a ride with me. Southwest vet, don't pepper where arrivals cheap, believe. I'm in this for life. What? I've got my spot down for years now. Tears, fake prayers ain't coming near now. LA fears make you proud. Sincerely hope it's very clear now. I'm in this for
Yo. Alright, people. So, yeah, we got the one like Wordsmiff. Really and truly, it doesn't really need an introduction. Like, you know what I mean? You lot know what time it is. You know who it is. But we're gonna have a little chat. We're gonna have a little talk. Before I even get him on, yeah. So what happened is I was online. I was saying, yo, who should we get? Like, who should we get on the interview show? And I had a couple of people mention it, like, you know, just on the messages, like, yo, you need to get Wordsmiff on. I was like, yeah, man, we'll do that. Then I started getting some inbox messages, and it wasn't like, yo, you should get Wordsmiff. It was like, yo, get Wordsmiff on. I was like, all right, jeez, like, so it's one of them ones, man. Like, you know what I mean? I put the feelers out. At first of all, you know that Wordsmiff is elusive, so I had to holler at somebody, to holler at someone else to get hold of him. Finally, we found him in a hideout. So yeah, like, apparently he's online. I don't know if this is even him, man, because this guy looks mad young, and I know Words is like my age or maybe even older. So I don't know who this guy is, but he's saying he's Wordsmiff. But before we get into this, guys, if you're watching live, hit that share button. Share this everywhere. Share. Let people know we're out here, we're doing this. It's lockdown, it's quarantine, we're bored as fuck. Like, we're trying to entertain you lot as well. So let everybody know what that we're out here doing this, man. So I guess it's time to introduce the one they call Mr. Wordsmiff. Yo. Oh, it's really you. It's really you.
It's me.
Real. Jeez.
Yeah. At the moment, obviously, with the quarantine thing, I can't send out all the lookalikes. So yeah, man. Isolation, whole program. What's good, though?
I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed. It's actually funny because in real life, yeah, we don't even really talk that much. It's one of them friendships where it's like it's some telepathic business. I'm just like, yeah, he's good. You're like, yeah, he's good, and it's never I swear actually, yeah, from the day I met you, it's been just like, that's brother, that's my bro, like straight up. None of this music is whatever, yeah, but outside of music in real life is a real relationship. So it's always been, it's a pleasure to have you on here, and yeah, man, we're gonna get into it. But how have you been? How's your family been during this lockdown period, man?
You know what? Mad situation, obviously, for everyone at the moment, man. Like, I feel blessed. I've got my closest people in the world right around me at the moment. You know what I mean? It's difficult, bruv, honestly. Obviously, like, about going into personal situations at this particular time, we kind of want our families close and stuff, and we want to be able to visit them and see what go on. But is what it is, isn't it, man? Like, I'm back writing, so I suppose there's a few positives to come on. Yeah, life has been good, bro. Life has been good. And like, it's funny that you say as well about the whole brotherhood and like friendship and that. But I think what it was, bro, we met through a love for the music and all of that. But then everything else kind of transcended that. Like when you get to know people on a personal level and it's not just music anymore, I think like music almost becomes secondary in a way, innit? Like it's a family thing, 100%. Man. I don't really phone you up to say, yo, like, how's the figures on your new single? Like, I phone you up to say, yo, how's the kids, man? How's the wife? What's going on in your life? You know what I mean? But yeah, we're old now, bro. We ain't got many stories to tell. We're boring.
What are you talking about? That's all we got is stories because we ain't doing that new.
But unlike you, bro, he's been like, you know, a beacon of positive living for many years. Like, I can't necessarily say the same. My brain's a bit more scrambled than you, bro. You've got stories, I'll be like, what, that was me? Yeah, really?
Nah, it's jokes. I think like it's interesting as well, yeah, because like you kind of you just mentioned about you're writing again, you put something out, you put a freestyle out yesterday. We're gonna play that at the end of the show. But musically, people always feel like, oh, you disappeared off music. And in a way you kind of did. But at the same time, You've actually been very consistent in making music. Like you send me new stuff a lot, so there's a lot of music out there that people just haven't got. And I feel like because you're the opposite of me, to be fair, in music wise. You're a perfectionist, as in this has to be like levels. I'm not putting it out. Whereas when I'm in the studio, like ask Terry Hooligan, it's like, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, all right, cool. I like it. I'm vibing, boom. Yeah, they can have it.
Don't play yourself down like that, bro. To be honest, I get asked that question a lot about music. Obviously, like I think what it was, my business acumen, maybe my knowledge of the industry, didn't really suit where my kind of musical talent was. Do you know what I mean? So you know the insides and outs. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of it, man. But like with the first couple of things that I put out, things went sour very fast because of a few different things. So I've always made music, even all these years. Like I haven't put out any projects or anything like that. I've still been writing. You know this. I've been making tunes. I've got a back catalogue of over 500 songs that people ain't heard. But the point is for me is actually having the avenues to put it out, and it's a different thing these days, bruv. Like the digital side of things is very different to when we were coming into the game. You needed to have that label behind you. You needed to have that distribution, you know what I mean? So I think it's just, yeah, man. Like I lost faith in more the kind of industry and business side of it. I never lost the love for the music, never stopped writing, but having someone to really get behind the vehicle and push it, I guess, was my problem. And like you said, I'm a perfectionist as well, man. I don't like putting out anything that isn't to a certain level.
Yeah, I think you're very similar to Terra in a way, because Terra's like not yeah, in some ways. Music.
That's my brother. I love you, Terra. You know I'm playing.
I'm trying to get Terra on it, yeah. Terra's been airing me, yeah. Terra's hitting like on certain posts and whatever. When I'm saying, yo, bruv, come on, man, let's chat. He ain't doing it, but he's got his own thing popping in it, so he's probably on that. But
he's shutting down net every day, bro.
Oh, yeah, for real. He's shutting it down. You know when it's good? When people are inboxing me hate that they got for him. I'm like, oh, bro, all right, Teva's doing his thing, boom.
Yeah, because they don't want to say it to his face. That's right, bro.
Nobody wants problems with Teva, you know. I keep telling people that, listen, you don't want... You see how like all of us, yeah, as we get older, we've mellowed. Terror has not mellowed, man. Like this things these things that are happening that I can't even say online. I'm gonna tell you off camera, yeah. Terror's he's nothing to play with, man. Nothing to play with. They man think they're doing. Man think they're on war. You're not on war, man. You're not on war. Terror's on psychological war. It's a whole different level. But
we got Terror Slim from day, bro. I've got too much love in my heart for that guy.
All day. The realest out here. But with him, yeah, I think he's the kind of person who, from a very young age, was like, you know what? I love music, but I don't fit in the scene. Not even artistically, because that's not, like you said, that's not the problem. It's the industry side of things. It's the how it used to be. Again, it's changed now. You can be in control of everything, but before you had to go through certain barriers and certain gates, and you had those gatekeepers. You had to be on radio, and to get shows, you had to go through promoters and that kind of stuff. And I think for a lot of people, especially people like you and like him, where the money, the music is cool, but at the end of the day, you got to make money in it. So there's certain things you're just not willing to do. So let's circle back here. Let's go way back let's go back before I met you. So we're talking before 2000.
It's that AD.
For real. So how did you get into music?
Boy, that's a mad one. I come from a musical family anyway, you know me anyway, my musical. That's the funny thing as well, because a lot of people who hear my music think I must just be into that head nodding hip hop. My musical tastes are mad eclectic, bro. So yeah, both my older brothers were recording from young, played instruments. I was the odd one out who didn't play any instruments and didn't seem to have any musical talent. So then my brother, who's a good 10 years older than me, he had a music studio, like a really, really good setup from a long time ago. So I started writing bars probably when I was about 9, 10 years old, bro. No exaggeration. And then from then, I was getting into the studio, doing my thing from there, bro. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Yeah, man, fucking started writing from young, from about 9. The tune, do you know what? The tune that really got me into hip hop is mad, bro, was The Message.
Okay.
Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, because my brother had a collection of like little 7-inch records. I'm shy. Yeah, little 7 records and that used to be my shit. Like 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. So I used to have that on repeat, constant. I thought, right, let me try writing something. Yeah. And from there, it just grew. Like my middle brother, he was mad into hip hop. He was DJing and playing out and stuff. So I just jumped on that wave. And then I guess probably about 15, 16 was when I'd been in studio for a year or two, and it started to come together. Like I started thinking, right, let me do a few live, open mic nights. Yeah, and that was it pretty much, bro. That was it. And then I linked Caruana.
It's funny how our story, it all links in, man. What was it when you were coming up? What was the scene like? Like you said, you were doing shows and stuff at like 15 years old or whatever. I was on the same thing as well. What was the scene like at the time, and how did you fit into it?
To give you an idea, bro, like it sounds stupid to say now, but when I was coming up, when I first started rapping, I had an American twang to my accent. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it wasn't that uncommon that a lot of English rappers would be like, yeah, what's up? I'm from Hackney. And then get on stage and be like, yo, bro, did it? Like, it was a commonplace thing. Yeah. But I never sat right in my stomach. And then I think I was because also, man, like bashment was my shit, even before hip hop. That was mainly my thing, man, like dancehall. And anyway, long story, like hearing Rodney P for the first time, hearing, you know what I mean, some of the other founders, like, wow, they're properly, like, even what they're saying is just properly English. I identify with that. That kind of changed it up for me, bro. That was a game changer. And that helped me start formulating my style a little bit more. And like, the live scene was completely different to how it is now, you know? It wasn't commonplace for a lot of hip hop events. They were here, there, and very scarce. You know what I'm saying? You really had to put them out. You had to seek out people who had studios who were making pop. Do you know what I mean? Like it was all about drum and bass, garage. Like, so yeah, man, it was a strange scene. I think like I wouldn't say we came after like the cusp of all the founding members kind of thing, and we're trying to cement it, that kind of sound. I don't think it had really found this identity. So like now, to be honest, bruv, it warms my heart, man. Like when you look at the charts these days and you see how these kids have got an avenue to put their music out, and you know you can have one decent freestyle, it can go viral. Next minute you're in the top 10. We didn't have. You know what I mean? It's good. It's good. UK music smacking it right now.
100%, man. So who was in your South man as well, yeah? So who were the artists that you were looking up to at the time? Who were the artists that you would say?
Yeah, man. I think like I really bought into London Posse. Rodney P's solo stuff as well. I think it's mad as well, bro, because if you remember when we first met, you actually introduced me to shitloads of UK music I didn't even know about. I didn't even know about Kalashnikov. Do you know what I mean? Like you basically turned into one of my favorite rappers. Obviously Black Twang, Fallacy. Like Fallacy grew up round the corner from me. Well, one of my best friends is his first cousin, so he was a big influence. Do you know what I mean? I'd see him at Carnival on stage smashing it with Black Twang and that. So yeah, I'd say probably like that was me, man. Rodney P, Black Twang, Fallacy.
Cool. So
you kind of introduced me to a whole new level, bro. Like I remember you playing me Jest for the first time, Task Force. Do you know what I mean? And then that's when I really first realised, raw, actually, there's people out there doing shit. Like it's impressive. You know what I mean? I was in a little bubble thinking there's nothing really going on.
I feel like a lot of people felt that way though, because like I said on the last interview I did with I think it was with AC, and I was saying that when I got into hip hop, I just thought the people around me were the only ones that are really doing it in that way. And so when I started listening to, I think it was like Shorty Blitz was probably the first person, and Westwood that started playing a little bit of hip hop stuff, UK hip hop. Huh?
Big up Shorty Blitz.
Yeah, man, big up Shorty Blitz for real. And then it kind of, I think you know what it was. I think Terror must have bought the what did he buy? He bought the Black Twang album, and this was before I'd ever heard of Black Twang. So he bought the album, and on the album was a track with Roots Maneuver, and I was like, nah, this guy's cold. So I got the Roots Maneuver album, and then I was just like, then it was just like raw. Then it kind of clicked. Him was like, wait, these men are from like the ends, innit? And so I knew that side existed. But then when I met Tom Caruana, again, there was a whole. He had Jess was at the uni at the time. I think Jess was the year above him, so he had a track out. Then I'm hearing Task Force. Then I'm hearing all the North London MCs, and I was just like, raw. There's literally Mud Family, all that. It was like, okay, this is real for real. And I think at that time as well, it was the scene, because it was so small. It was a lot easier to get involved and become part of the scene. And I remember WKD. I remember Terror coming back one night. He'd been out at a club. I'm like, where you been? He's like, I went to this place, WKD. I was like, oh, he was there. He's like, yeah, man, Skinny Man was there, Chester P was there. He started reading off all these names. I'm like, what do you mean? What, they're performing? He's like, yeah, but they were just there jamming as well. I'm like, what? Like, is this like for real? And at that time as well, these are people that you're seeing in magazines and you're hearing on radio. And then the next week or whenever it was, going there and seeing these people that you're just like, nah, I literally just heard Fingerprints of the Gods, and now like you're there. It was a nuts.
It was more accessible, wasn't it? Very
crazy,
accessible,
man. Crazy.
I think as well that's maybe slightly different from these days, but similar as well. Like you could get involved in the scene quickly if you had that talent. You do one open mic night and you're around the right people, all of a sudden, you know, you got people to work with. But yeah, Caruana was also a big influence musically, because I'd worked with my brother and people around me, but Caruana, as you know, was something different musically. Like he kind of guided the album, told me what he thought I should do, what kind of beats work with me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the industry was mad back then, bro. I've got some good memories and some crazy memories as well. Go on.
Let me flip my my man. Let's go to the crazy memories then, yeah.
Like I before this interview, bro, I do have the right to plead the fifth. I don't even think that's in this country still, but
okay, all right, cool. You do. But you know what's nuts, yeah? So we're like, where are we now? 15, 16 years away from like when things were peaking and peak, yeah? And people are still talking about you, like you're a trending topic still. People still want to know what happened. And you know what? I'm gonna be real, yeah? A lot of times, yeah, when people ask me like, oh yo, what happened between Words and Task Force? I'm like, well, you gotta speak to them, innit? Like, I just be leaving it. And and also as well, I see a lot of like like commentary on what happened from people on the outside who know nothing about it, yeah? But like the stories that come up, I'm just like, rah, is this what you lot think? Yeah. Like, to me it's super funny. And I've had people approach me. I was in Newcastle one time. And this is like 10 years after it happened. I'm in Newcastle at a Chester P show. And this guy rolls up on me, like kind of aggy, innit? Like, yeah, so what happened, man? What happened? So I had to put him in his place because a lot of times as well, people think like, because online, yeah, I'm very like, I'm happy, lucky. Yeah, I mean, I'm nice online. But offline is a whole different thing because I understand the difference between music and real life, and the things that we do in music and how I interact with supporters on music is very different how I interact with people in real life, because again, it's a totally different world. So this guy must have thought it was cool. I let him know it wasn't cool. I don't really care about that stuff. Like, go talk to Chess, innit? Or go talk to you. But even now, we're in 2020 and people are still talking about it. How do you feel about the situation?
Well, for me, I'll be honest with
and I already know the answer to this, by the way, as well. So I'm just playing devil's advocate because we spoke about this so many times. I've had conversations with everyone involved. Listen,
first things first, yeah. I don't want to get into the ins and outs of what happened. There was a lot of misinformation. I felt like I had a righteous problem with Chester. Let me see this. There you go. Yeah, man. I don't think there's much point in going over the ins and outs. Basically, we've squashed it a long time ago. We've even made music since then and stuff. And like, I made some regrettable mistakes on my part, which is what happens when you're young and impetuous and you let your tongue run without really thinking about certain things. But from like a actual beef level, man, like, we never actually had any physical confrontation, nothing like that. So all these little rumors that I've heard some funny shit. We was rolling around. I'm like, bro, like, I might have been drunk in my life, but I'm sure someone would have told me about that event. Nah, nothing like that, bro. It was hearsay. It was this, that. I acted impetuously. I should have had more self-restraint. I spoke on things that only even a couple years ago I really found out the seriousness of things I was talking about. So I've even squashed beef with people who were attributed to certain things I was saying. Yeah. So from that point of view, listen, man, I regret that. I do. And that's not from a career point of view. That's not from a versus battling point of view. From a personal standpoint, as a man, the way that I acted and the things I said are regrettable. And I can see that as a grown man, you know what I mean, 15 years later. But yeah, there wasn't really no beef, bro. It was Chinese whispers and things getting passed around. I thought that there was a situation when I thought I'd been disrespected. I had people gassing me up, telling me that was the situation, to then find out further down the line that these people were as fake as a fucking, do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it is what it is. I don't think it, like you said, music is music, dude. Like, I'm a different person offline than I am. Well, actually, sometimes I'm the same. Maybe I've got that twisted. I'm pretty much the same. Yeah, bro, like, it never was going to come to that. Nah. And I think if it was to that level of seriousness, certain other people would have stepped in and made sure it didn't come to that.
100%. You know what the funny?
I've spoken to the man since then. All
Yeah.
I can say, bro, like, I got utmost respect for the guy. I never had nothing but respect musically. It wasn't ever really about music, the gripes between us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. It's water under the bridge.
I think one of the most amusing parts of it is because of, at the time, it wasn't like today where something happens and everyone knows straight away. Because it took so long for it to get to the public here, you lot had already squashed it when like the diss tracks came out. So like, so people are like,
so media weren't the same as it is these days.
Man, it's hilarious. So like, it's so funny. So before the tracks even dropped, beef was already squashed. Like with the majority, with the main people involved anyway. There was already conversations that had been had, and I think like looking back at it now, especially as adults, yeah, like looking back, it's so hilarious. It's like it makes it even more funny because it's like it shows you how a little bit of miscommunication can just mess up the whole vibe, innit? And on top of that though, I feel like one thing I've noticed, obviously we regard Chester P as the top, right? Like lyricist, MC. A lot of us in the UK hip hop scene, we regard him as the top. And if you look even now, I checked this recently. You look at people talking about the battle. The consensus is, yeah, Chess did Chess, but Words held his own. And I feel like you gained a lot of fans just through battling. And if you think about the way battles should be, especially when you're talking about on when you're keeping things music, that's how it should be. It should be like, all right, cool, but let's take what's personal out of it. Did he do his thing? Did he come lyrically? And a lot of people would never have heard of you if it wasn't for that. And then again, that kind of put you to another level as well.
I think as well, man, like, I appreciate that compliment, man, but like, I don't think it was ever really about the if it had just been a lyrical battle, I think it could have gone on and gone on. And it only been a good thing for the industry. Yeah. But as you know, and not everyone knows, at that point in my life, bro, I had more going on than music. Yeah. You get, I was in a bad place. So the whole, like, because I get asked that as well a lot, man. Like, oh, why didn't you come back? You held your own in the first. Because for me, it was like, look, I'm sorting my life out. Put music to one side. For my career, obviously that happened at probably the worst time because I was in a point in my personal life where I needed to get away from everything, sort my head out and come back a fresh person. And obviously the longer the time went on, it's like Words has been dead off. Yeah. I never thought that was the case, and I'm not trying to read. But I think on a lyrical level, I think I held my own. But, you know, again, some of the things that I said in there were regrettable. So, yeah, man, I leave people to make up their own minds on that one, bruv. Like, listen, as a lyricist, as an artist, I've got nothing but respect for Chester P, man. And since all of this has happened, we didn't even know each other personally or didn't even talk like that. But over the last couple of years, we've had a few interactions, we've had a few conversations, and a guy on a do you know what I mean? On a mentality level is safe as well. So it is dead. It's water under the bridge, man. Like, I'm up for healthy competition though, bro. Like, these days, I'll be up battle or something. Not with Chester, I'm saying.
not with me. I don't want none of that smoke, man.
I'm saying in general, do you know what I mean? Like,
all I rap about is girls and money, man. I can't be beefing with nobody. But I think
ain't rap about no girls, man. Your wife will kick your ass,
that's
bro.
The only girl I'm rapping about. We talking about? Come on, man.
Plural then, bro. Singular.
Alright, cool. She was standing next to the mirror. I mean, it looked like it was two of her. But I think you touched on a point just then. Over time, really getting to know Chester, hanging out with him a few times, being on tour with him a few times, and being around, you get to see someone's character, and that's when you really get to see who the person is, and you can just see, he's a humble dude, man, like a good-hearted person. I worked with him a few times, shot videos from him and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, man, he's a good dude, man. And
this is what I'm saying as well, bro. When people say to me, "Oh, why didn't you come back?" and all of this stuff, I mean, like, I've got a good heart, bro. You know me. I've done some fuckery things in my life, but I've got a good heart. Like, for me, the way that he handled it and the things that were said, I didn't feel like there was a place for me to come back with anything, man. I think like when I found out that I was unjust in saying certain things, do you know what I'm saying? I think if it had gone down a different way, then maybe it would have carried on. But yeah.
But I think that also shows a level of maturity that I don't think a lot of people have, because it takes a big person to be like, right, I was wrong in that situation. Okay, cool, that's it then. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't humble themselves because they just want to be seen as being right, or they want to have one up on somebody else.
You got to think about it as well. I've looked at it from the other perspective, brothers. Like when he heard that, now knowing further down the line that there wasn't anything that had happened in the first place to really was he going at him. What was he supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know what he had to do, bro? And he come back and he did his thing. Yeah. So for me, that was like, see it whatever way you want, whether I was beaten, whatever. I don't care. I'm not thinking about it on that level. I'm thinking that was it done. It was squashed. It did not need to carry on from that point. You get me?
I think as well, man. Last thing on this, and we move on. I think it shows again the level of maturity between real people and not even supporters, fans. Because again, all they want to see is the fight. They just want to see the bloodlust. They just want to see the beef and all that kind of stuff. But they're not. What they never take into account is there's real people involved. And again, you're dealing with, like, I'm not putting no one's business out there, yeah. But Chester, Task Force Farmer, them man, they roll with some real dudes and are some real dudes. I know you roll with some real dudes and are a real dude. So again, you're talking about, you don't really want to see anything kick off like that. And it doesn't, if it never has to be that, why would you be trying to like pump that up? And again, it's because a lot of people, not bad mouthing fans or whatever, but a lot of them have never been in that situation or know what it really means to really, you know what I mean, to take, they don't really know what beef is. Like really and truly, you don't know what beef is. So
you know what I mean, bro? Like that's what I'm saying. It could have gone that way if it carried on. So come on, man. Look, we're talking about this as men with kids, like 15 years down the line, bro. Look back with a little bit of perspective and say, things probably worked out for the best the way they did.
100%, man. It's all for real. And now it's all love. You like I said, man.
Moving on from the first shitty topic that you put me on.
Hey, look, you know, people want to know, man. They don't hear from you a lot, so you know what I mean. We got to get it out there, man. So pretty much after all that happened, you put out a few little things, but really went quiet on the music side of things. So what else have you been doing other than the music?
Just living life, bruv. Like, you know, for years without going into anything incriminating, like I was living life on the edge, man. I was living life on the edge.
No, I don't want to.
So I had to almost rebuild, bruv. Like, and you know as well with the music thing, bro. Like, I'd never set out to be a rapper. It's like that famous line, "I'm not a rapper." I never set out to be a rapper, bro. That wasn't me. I loved making the music, but I didn't ever think of it as a viable career option. Do you know what I mean? So the whole time I was making music, I was still doing my thing on the road, like, just making money. And then I got to a certain age, everything changed when I had my first son, bro. You know, when I had my son, like that was it. It's like, okay, responsibility time. This person relies on me. Not having a father myself who really stepped up to the plate, it was like, I ain't gonna do that to this little man. And it took a lot, bro. I really had to like shake myself down from the feet upwards and just sort my whole life out. Got a legitimate job. I ain't gonna mention no names or no companies. You know, I'm never about promotion or trying to get any kind of promotional things going on. Man. So just the building process, man. Moved out of London, you know. Never got run out before anyone says that.
I've heard that as well, man. That's the funniest one.
I did a little stint down in Brighton, as some people know. And then when my son came along, I moved down to Kent to be close to him, to make sure I was there, and kind of rebuilt from there, bro. And then just, man, now I'm at that age where it's like I was doing the gardening yesterday, bro. Come on, man.
See that's a flex. I
I
got a
was
garden. I
planting-
got a garden. Yeah, that's a flex right
What,
there.
what do you know about planting grass seeds to get that plant?
Man, that's what I keep telling people now, man. I want to hear about your Rolly. What's your loft conversion saying? You know what I mean, you're out here, man.
Yeah, bro. Listen, man. Like, I think it's funny. Like, obviously, for anyone who didn't know, I know I look amazing, but I turned 40 last year, and there's a certain part of you that's like, oh man, I'm 40 years old, bro. I thought I'd be living in a penthouse by now. All these things, but then you look around and you think about all the people you went to school with, all of your boys, where everyone is. You know, people locked up in jail, people not here anymore. I'm happy, bro.
Yeah.
Life is. I made it to a good old age. You know what I mean? I got beautiful son, beautiful wife, nice house, good car on the drive. Life is good, bro. Life is good, and I ain't looking over my shoulder no more.
I think you know what? That's I'm glad you touched on that. It's two little things. That looking over the shoulder thing, yeah. That having that peace. I feel like a lot of guys don't understand how valuable that is. I remember being a little while back when I first was like 100% legit, and having that I can just sleep. Like, it doesn't mean anything. A little while ago, about maybe 6 months ago, about 6 months ago, I was going into my building, and there was a car behind me, and I just went in. I would have never done that.
Your building, like you own the whole building.
I might as well. But like, you know, normally, yeah, there would never be a time I'd be like, there's somebody there, they can see me, they know what I'm going into. I'm not doing that. That's a dumb move. And I would have flipped it, I would have spun, I would have gone around to come back again, and I would have flipped around, see who they are. I was just like, ain't no one coming for me, man. What they want from me? Like, I ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? But like, it's beautiful. And talking about guys our age, obviously we got Instagram now, so we see a lot of our boys on Instagram, and it's funny because what you'll see a watch post, maybe you'll see some jewelry, you'll see them out on holiday, and then you'll see an RIP post. You'll see some jewelry, some blah blah blah, an RIP post. You'll see so and so, and I see the pattern. I'm just like, like, there's certain times where I do miss, you know what I mean, being able to having stats like that, but at the same time, what I don't miss is having to see so and so's mum, and you know she buried her son last week, and you kind of just you know that you're a part of that problem. And I'm going on to the next thing I want to talk about is you work with young people now, trying to steer them away from that life. So how does that feel, and how does your experience help what you do now?
Well, yeah, man. I was working with children, working in a school environment, working in an educational setting. For me, it was like I really wanted to get into that line of work, because, like you said, bro, like I think life is a series of choices, man. Like, and you know, some of my boys have made the wrong ones, and it's fucked up their whole life. Like, that is it. That's it. Done. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just all about trying to use your experience and use your knowledge to try and to teach these kids, like, look, you may think this thing that you're thinking of doing at 14 is just a minor thing and it's not going to affect you, but that could be it for you. You know what I mean? And imprinting upon them the importance of it. But saying that, I no longer work, and we haven't had a conversation on that for a minute. I no longer work in that kind of environment. I got a little bit disillusioned with the whole kind of educational process in this country, if I'm honest, bro. I was working with a lot of kids, you know, been through the care system, foster care, homes, a lot of inner city kids, actually, who they try and obviously rehome in more like rural areas and stuff. And man, like, there's good people out there doing good things in the educational system, but when certain things are set up for these kids to be a number and for them to just on a production line almost, and there's a monetary value for each case that arrives on them, it all gets a little bit tied up in money, and man, it illusioned me, bruv. So I'm still trying to do little bits here and there, but yeah, man, I'm just taking care of my family now. And like you said, bruv, I think it's all about generations. That's how I look. You know, like if I'd have stayed doing what I was doing, throwing out kids whilst living all this madness, they probably would have ended up doing the same stupid shit that I did when I was a
100%.
kid. Do you know what I mean? So now I can look down and I can say, right, my boy's doing brilliant in school. He's got a good heart. He's a good person. He's intelligent. He's got integrity. He's honest. Do you know what I mean? For me, that's all I can do. It starts at home, bro. If you can help other people, you do, but it starts at home.
Yeah, man. He's a good kid. It's actually funny, yeah. So you know when I messaged you earlier, I was like, bro, I need some photos, yeah. You ain't got no photos of you online, but you got photos of your kid, and it's funny because obviously I just see him now, innit? But I forget like when he was a baby, like, and it's like you don't realize how quick kids grow up, man. And it's just like he's a little man now, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, bro. Like it's mad. Like if you hear some shouting in the background, that's probably him playing Fortnite. You know, all parents complain, bro. I swear they need to just delete that game. No, he's a good kid, bro. Like, but he's up to that mad age as well. That's the thing. I think now is the time more than ever that I've got to be a dad and I've got to be a strong character. Because you think, man, you know, kids can be as sweet as anything, especially with boys. As soon as they hit that 12, 13 age, man, it all changes, bro.
You know as well, like, especially when it don't matter how I come from a really good family. My dad's a preacher, mum's a teacher. I was always in church, but I ain't always in church, innit? So as soon as you come out, you hit the road, it's different. You're around different people. You want different things. But one of the things my dad always said to me was, what I've given you is a moral compass. So you might go far, but you're only gonna go so far down that road, and until you're gonna think to yourself, do you know what? That's a bit too far. And if I look at my life, there was a limit. There's always a limit, and there was always people that I always felt would go that one step further, but I was always like, nah, that's me. I'm cool to hear. I'm this bad. I ain't going any better. And I think.
No, your dad's a legend, though, bro.
Yeah,
you dropped some knowledge on me at your wedding, bro.
yeah. See, but then that's another thing as well, though. A lot of people say like they're like, oh, how do you? Because obviously you know me, man. I'll be talking or whatever, and I think like I grew up watching my dad talk. I grew up watching my dad preach, and I'm just like a slightly less outgoing version of my dad. I'm a quieter version of my dad, and it's which is a mad thing to say, innit? It's mad. Like people think that I'm this, but nah. Like my dad is, he's a whole nother. I'm shy. Like by myself, I'm a shy person. My dad is nothing like that. I'm more like my mum. But again, talking about generational wealth and generation, like that's what it is. There's a lot of things that my dad has given me. Forget money. Like there's certain knowledge that I can take, I can give to my kids, and that really is what generational wealth is when you come down to it at its core, man. And I think looking at where you've come from and where you are, you have to be proud of yourself, because there's certain lessons that you've learned, and there were people on the same path as you. They didn't get to learn them lessons because they didn't live long enough. And even the ones who...
I had my mum turn around to me and say, you know what I mean? Like, there was times when I didn't think you'd make it to your 30th.
I felt the same about you as well. Yeah. There were a lot of us felt the same about you.
Life was mad, bro. There was times I can't even go into stuff like you said, bro. Mad, bro. Like, it took a lot of work. And I'll be honest with you as well, bro. I'm not even through it now at my ripe old age. Do you know what I mean? Still, the anxiety is kind of left over from all the things and the things you've witnessed and experienced. And I think the older you get, you become less kind of steeled to those things.
100%.
You open the door, it all comes pouring out. Bro, I'll be sitting there watching a Disney film with my missus, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
but see, that's the thing. It's like
open the tap, bro.
Man, like, this is part of the problem, though, because there's one side of the road that people see. There's the other side that people don't see. And it's funny because obviously I work with gang members now, and things will happen, and we'll talk the same way we used to talk about things. We'll talk about it matter of factly, like man got dealt with, innit? He's gone whatever, and it was like you talk about it in a way where it don't mean anything. As you get older, certain things start coming back to you. You start remembering certain things, and then it feels different.
There's a word that I always use when it comes to people I know growing up and like how we condition is desensitized, bro. 100%. Like I've always had a good heart. I come from a good family. Like, my mum's a good person. Do you know what I mean? She instilled some real good values into me.
Yeah.
But like, you get to a certain age, and because of how your life is, the people you're moving with or whatever, you manage to actually just desensitize yourself and blank yourself out to anyone else's emotion, anyone else's pain. Because it's all about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a selfish existence. But then when you're trying to get by, and you know what it's like, bro, you have to be selfish. You have to, you know, that type of environment. So.
And I think I think therapy is super important, especially when you're coming back from that journey, because I'll go into this. So my therapist was basically saying I have a problem with empathy because I never feel anything, because I've spent so long being the person with no feelings. I find it hard to ever show feelings, and I'm cutting myself off to a lot of feelings. And like jokingly, I was like, yeah, but I cried at Endgame, and like it's like, so because obviously you don't ever want to see yourself as a sociopath, and I don't think I'm that, because I do, again, there's certain things I won't do, but at the same time, it does take a lot to get in touch, get back what you left, because when I was young, I wasn't like this. When I was super young, I wasn't this person, and it took years hanging around with certain people. The one line that always hits me, Rodney P, when he says, "Big up all my bad man friend that don't smile," and I spent so long around them people, like, and the mask just became my face. And
yeah, but that was us, bro.
Yeah,
remember?
for real.
Like,
so
what were you smiling for?
Yeah, like, but like, it's, and the only time we're laughing is if it's badness, innit? But then there comes a point where, again, you get older, you start looking back at things, and you start realizing it's that whole scene of what's it called in a what's the show called? I can't remember what the show's called, but they're like, "Rah, are we the bad guys?" And you have to, like, there were certain times where you're like, "Oh, rah, nah, we really were the bad guys in that situation." And even though we tell ourselves the stories now, we had to do this because this was our ends. We were repping, we did this and the third, and it's like, nah, man, you kicked off doors and there was kids in the yard, like, and it's funny, yeah, because there's so many situations that go through my head when I think back, and I just like you said, going back to Chester P on the other side of something, I'm looking at, like, how did they feel on the other side of that? And they're powerless. They're in a powerless situation, but because we had what we had, we felt like we had all the power, so we did what we did.
Do you remember that program? My Name Is Earl.
Yeah. You go back. I
thought about doing that. I'll take down half the rainforest.
I can't, man. I see.
I think you can't take back your past, bro.
Nah,
and that's what, like, even now, things that I'd forgotten about, because I've, like, opened these doors to feeling regret, empathy, for these things that I've done in my past. Certain times things will flash back to me, and it will actually put me in a state of depression for a day, because I'm like, oh wow, like, that's what man did. That was me. Wow, like. Yeah, bro. But like you said, like I said, you can't really change that, bro. It's just about growth, innit? It's about where you're at and what you're doing to kind of remedy those 100%. Steps, I suppose. So there's things that, like, I remember fuckeries that I've done. So if there's a similar situation in my present day life where I can do the right thing, and I can learn from that, that's all you can do, bro. That's all you can do. How do we get so deep on this chat, bro? Like,
that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes sometimes.
I've got my cup and all that. I don't get old, I level up.
Oh, man. So, all right, moving. So, what's next, man? What's next for Wordsmiff, man? What are we doing?
Boy,
are we gonna get an album? Because a few times you've sent me albums.
I got to touch on one other thing first as well, because someone asked yesterday on that freestyle I put out, like, how can I get your previous albums and all of this? Well, you need to understand, Wordsmiff is dead. Do you understand? Like, the first album was on a label that I broke ties with under very acrimonious circumstances. We won't go into it. I have no ill feelings towards anyone in my past, sort of. Then the second album, do you know what I mean? Again, wasn't handled by me, wasn't distributed. All of that, didn't handle the distribution deal with Suspect. All of that was done by someone else. So if you want that material, you're going to have to contact those people. Another thing that really put the biggest spanner in the works is the American dude who called himself Wordsmiff. Came out about 10 years after I started my career. Now, I made a silly error. I copyrighted the name in, I think it was UK and Europe at the time or something like that. Didn't get the global copyright or whatever it was. He then put a cease and desist order on all of my music. Spotify, on YouTube, on everything. Dude, when I found out we got access to the legal bills and stuff, my man spent tens of thousands of pounds on trying to erase me off the internet, bro. So there is going to be material, but it's not going to be under Wordsmiff. Now, I don't want to reveal what the new title is going to be and all of that, but it's coming. I'm doing a concept album.
Sick.
To kick it off, which is just something I've been thinking about for the last year or so, and I finally started writing because I've got so much time on my hands. And then I've got material. The freestyle that you heard yesterday, that's going to be laid down for sure over 3D's beat. And then I'm just going to do a straight up album of just me spitting. No particular subject matter, do you know what I mean? Just a body of tunes that I think are solid enough to put out. How I'm going to do that, answers on a postcard. Make sure you disinfect that shit before you send it. Yeah, bro. And I think, with me, man, this has always been the thing. It's like, I haven't had the time while I have been sorting out my life and trying to be this role model and this father and this husband to actually be a guy who can sit there on social media and promote myself and sort out distribution deals and stuff. So, yeah, man, output is going to be difficult. I don't know how that's going to work. So in the meantime, all I'm going to do is just keep putting up shit on Instagram, on Facebook, dropping freestyles and features. Do you know what I mean? I'm hungry for the music, bruv. I've never lost my love for it, but I was bitter. You know what I mean? Got my name taken from me, bruv. I released my first joint in like '99 or something under the name of Wordsmiff, and then some guy, he actually wrote to me PM'd me and said, I said, look, dude, like, I'm trying to be respectful about this. I've got the name. It's my name over here. Because he's trying to get a distribution deal with Dented as well in the UK. And I said, look, man, come on, be reasonable, bro. Like, what can we do about this situation? You call yourself Wordsmiff US, I call myself Wordsmiff UK, whatever. I shouldn't have had to humble myself, but I'm thinking, all right. You know what the dude said to me?
What's that? I remember, but tell the people.
Hip hop comes from America. You don't have any right to anything. If I want to call myself Wordsmiff, you have to accept that. If you carry on, my lawyers will shut you down.
But you know what you did as well?
And this is what I'm saying, bro. I'm not a rapper.
There was some other sneaky stuff as well, because he was trying to come in with me as well, innit? He wanted us to do songs together. Like,
I know.
And I didn't, at the time, I was like, what? Who? What for what? And then I realised what he was trying.
He even had my picture on some of his tunes online, bro. Like to fool people into thinking, what? Madness, bro. Madness. I wouldn't even mind if the dude was like next level. All right, some top tier rapper wants my name, you know, boy. You know what I mean? I'll put up a fight, but yeah, the dude's shit, man. He don't even deserve the name, man. He killed the name. The name just went dead.
I don't know what he did with it. I don't know if he's even still rapping anymore, but either way, fuck him. But yeah, man. So what I'm gonna do then? We're gonna end it on this. I'm gonna play the freestyle that you dropped yesterday. And I just, you know what I mean? Just get the guys out there, man. Keep supporting. You got that. You can see the page. Go follow Wordsmiff. And just keep supporting good music, man. Keep supporting a good dude, someone who's always supported me. Like, at the end of the day, my biggest fan has always been Wordsmiff, like straight up and down. That's how it's always been. And we used to spit back and forth. And even the days when I wasn't, my pen weren't, you know what I mean, all that, words would be like,
but see, that was always your problem, bruv. You always put yourself down too much. You get me? I'm sitting there like thinking, what is wrong with this dude, man? Like, he's got charisma, he's got talent, he's got the delivery, the flow's on point, and he's doubting himself all the time. He used to madden me, bruv. He used to madden me.
Do you know what though?
While I'm on here, I've got to say big up to you as well. Obviously, you're my brother and that, but I see the moves you're making, bruv. Like, within the scene itself, bringing people together, being a voice, a spokesperson. Like you say, the work you're doing with the youth at the moment, we've talked personally about that, bruv. Salute. Yeah, man.
Cool,
and,
man.
Yeah.
Bro, once it's all done, I'm going to come up see you and the fam.
100.
Literally one of my highlights of last year was coming up to see you. So got to do that again. Try and convince the missus to move out with you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Bro,
I'm trying so badly. You don't understand.
I'm down by the seaside, man. It's nice.
I know, man. I see how you're living. I'm like, nah, come on, man. Got me out here. I'm out here thugging it, man. I'm out here thugging it. I can't be dealing with that anymore. But yo, big up everybody. Thank you for streaming in live. Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of people tuned in. It felt good. So we're gonna post this up on the YouTube as well. But I'm gonna leave you with this, man. Wordsmiff freestyle. Like, we've been talking. Let's hear what the bars are saying. You know what I mean? Alright.
Yo. Artist formerly known as Wordsmiff. Old boy Smithy. 3D Williams on the beat. No long talk. And when the day is over, yo. Listen, yo, don't worry about my welfare. I got the very best in self-help healthcare. Though in a man's past some bad cards were dealt there, I had to advance, I jack yards and sell gear. Caught in lack heart, grew mad fast, numb inside, never really felt tears. Till my son begun his life, now fuck the hype, I'm steering well clear. Grew with nothing, had to grind to find the numbers. Skip a couple years, now I'm acclimatized to comforts. Design a path that's righteous, no guiding light or compass. Catting for peace of mind to find a different kind of substance. Fuck popping shams, fam, I'm missing off these roads. Drop the liquor out, only sipping coffee when we toast. Grown man shit, no talk, bossy with no boast. Learn from olders, lips closed, move sloppy, get exposed. So I'm locking in these flows, like blossoming it shows. Was sombered by the sorrow, now I'm stronger in my soul. Sold snow so smoothly, my foe so salty. On some slow-mo, bookie mode, your growth so poultry. Out the blocks like boat, them blokes can't slow me. 2 bucks to the boat, turn a coat into a pony. Fuck a show horse, digging dirt, I'll spit on your grave. Fuck up your show, boy, piss a verse, shit on the stage. Trying to uninstall my villainous traits. Conversing with myself like Smithy, behave. Don't let this brick in the face. I'm sick of illicit shit, I witness work the wickedest ways. Words whisked me to the wilderness and wisdom was waged. I'm just a deep thinker, over analytical, seeing through the bullshit. So most you man's invisible, so typical. Slap you with an open hand for principle. Soldier and a general, I know I stand invincible. Indivisible from the street life. I eat right and sleep tight, and I'm gonna have a sweet life. Yo, stay safe, people. Big Wordsy, GMB, FLIP. And when the day is over, yo, I'm gonna go to sleep, you know.